Life is inherently simple, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can solve any problem that you have in your life, any problem, and how God actually wants you to be able to solve any problem, because that is how He created this world. In my first video, I talked about how words are your creative power, and anything that you speak, you create that, okay? And you should be very careful about what you speak. And then I also talked about how your thoughts are your enemy, and your thoughts are what causes you to stumble, to stir up negative emotions, to think things that you don't want to create, and then you get obsessed with them, and then you end up creating them. And how this world and the elites and whatever the powers that be are using your thoughts to basically use you against yourself, okay? And that is the challenge of the world. In my second video, the previous video before this one, I talked about how if you are a riddle, if your world, outside world is a riddle, is a maze, is a unclear, is unhappy, dark, negative, whatever, it is because you yourself inside are that way. You yourself inside are unclear, not simple. You're complex. You're a riddle. You're confused. You are a maze. Okay. So in that video, I explained how if you wish to solve your outside world, you need to re-clarify, re-simplify, remove. Okay, remove everything from your world, from your environment, and get back to nothingness. Okay, but in practicality, like actually remove stuff, right? You cannot do that. You gotta do it with your diet, with social media, and explain everything in the video. In today's video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what inherent simplicity is and how this concept works, okay? And I'm going to basically do this here. So it's very simple, okay? And the quote from Eli Goldratt says, the more complex the system seems, the more inherently simple it actually is. What does that mean? Okay, let's just bear with me and this will make sense. This is basically connected to Christianity, spirituality, and everything. So if you have this system here, okay, this can be your, this is just an exemplification. This is just like an example of, this can be your life, this can be your business, this can be your dating life, this can be your finances, your fitness, anything. So which system, okay, is more complex? So for example, if we have like, let's say like this, and then like this, make this one even more complex, or this one. Most people would look at this picture and they would say, well, this system is more complex. There is all these lines and there is all these circles and, processes and objects and whatever, okay? This system is more complex. But in reality, this system is more complex. And now you're going to learn what inherent simplicity means. Inherent simplicity means that once you understand that this world is governed by the law of cause and effect, you can basically use this understanding, cause and effect, to find out the cause of things. And once you find out the cause of things, you can influence those key causes and everything else will become better. And I'm not just talking about business here. This is obviously a concept that people use for business, but this can be applied to everything. And I'm going to give you examples, okay? So what this basically means, just to summarize, because I don't want to get stuck here too long, basically means if you wanted to influence this system A, because there is no connection between these things, and in real life there is always connection, you would have to affect this, you would have to affect this, and affect this at the same time to cause a change. But in this system here, you will affect the whole system if you affect just this one, right? If you affect this one, everything else will have some sort of effect, and then this one at the end will also experience some sort of change, some sort of effect. This means, because you yourself are a system, where you live is a system, especially today with internet, everything is connected, but even without internet, everything is connected. This means that because everything is interconnected, there are certain things that you have control over. Obviously, you don't have there's a circle of influence, circle of concern. So obviously you don't have control over everything. Some things are just maybe concern and you should not even think about those, maybe be slightly aware of those. Circle of influence is are the few things that you have control over right now, that if you affect them in a positive way, everything around you, your life and other people around you and the world, and by effect the universe, will be positively affected. Okay, very easy examples, is like, if a person, just simple examples, then I'll get more abstract, more spiritual, more Kabbalistic, whatever, more Gnostic, Christian, whatever you want to say. So if you have a business and your business is struggling, but you're also overweight, it could be, not necessarily, it could be that you don't have enough energy, to do what you need to do because you're overweight. So it's nothing that you need to fix within your business. Maybe you need to fix you being overweight. And to fix you being overweight, maybe you think you need to fix, like, go to the gym more, or you need to change your workout plan, or hire a coach, or da-da-da, right? But in actuality, you need to fix your diet, which will affect all these things. And then, okay, maybe you think that. And then you go, okay, I need to fix my diet. And that means I need to buy all these supplements. I need to, create all these new recipes, whatever. But maybe all you need to do is just like remove sugars, okay? And then to remove sugars, the easiest way, maybe it's very difficult for you, is to like fast, and then maybe use some sugar alternatives. And then you come to this solution that, like, fasting, for example, which we know is one of the keys to life. It's like everywhere, in each tradition, in each religion, in each ideology, even in Jesus's Matthew 5, 6, and 7, or like the Sermon on the Mount, he says, when you fast, da 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 da, right? He already assumes that you will fast. That's something that you should do. And many times in the Bible, even Jesus himself says that fasting has many benefits. So maybe for you, you realize that you need to fast more. And then if you fast, you will have less sugar cravings, and it will be easier to stop eating sugar, and you will lose weight. And if you eat less sugar and you're losing weight, it will be easier to also include some working out. And you can even like skip all of these side things like supplements and hiring trainers and new workout programs. And then once you start losing weight, you'll have more energy and more clarity, and more clarity will bring you better ideas and more execution, and then your business will start getting better, and da 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 da, right? And then let's say you have a business that actually helps your clients will get better help, their lives will be happier, and it's like a upward circle in general, because everything is connected. And we're coming back to this core idea, because everything is connected, because everything is inherently simple, but not simple meaning that it has very few parts. Like this one has 4 parts. It's not simple because of that. It's simple because there is all these cause and effects, and everything is connected to the other thing. And then there is these few things, which I explained in the previous video, right? If there is a riddle, you need to simplify and find out the core few things. This is something that can also help you find those core few things. So there's like a very few things that if you affect them, everything else just solves on its own, okay? And I'm going to give you some transcendental ideas, Obviously, we know, okay, if you work out, in general, your life becomes better, okay? Then if you get better sleep, everything becomes better, okay? In your business, if you do more sales calls, everything becomes better. But if you're not getting enough sales calls, you need to do more marketing, everything becomes better. And then if your marketing is tough, you need to maybe clarify who you're talking to, everything becomes better, da 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 da, right? So you can always go back and back. Now, what are some things, because this is like for everybody, I'm just creating videos to share with you. Like, what are some things that everybody could do right now, today, to make everything better? Well, some transcendental things are peace. When you're in peace, your thinking is more clear, you can make better decisions, you get better ideas, you can execute better. If you're studying, you can study better, right? It's scientifically proven that if you study while you're peaceful, ideas getting better. If you want to learn a new skill, if you want better relationships, like you want to meet a new person, you want to go on a date, it will be better if you're in peace, right? So that's one of the transcendental things. Like you want to be in peace. Then what is the thing that will bring you in peace? To peace is breathing. You want to consciously breathe. For example, when soldiers are in war, one of the protocols that they learn is returning to breathing and then returning to their SOPs. Like if there is a fire and shooting, you hide, and then if you're stressed, you go consciously, slow down and deepen your breath, and then from there peacefully return to the SOP. Think like, okay, the next step is this, next step is this. We thought about this, we practiced, and return to the SOP. So, soldiers, because they're in such a stressful situations, they know that they should get some peace first, and they do that through their breathing. So, for example, your breathing is one of the things. What is another transcendental thing that you can do? Well, you can pray. That's one of the main things that you can do, okay? And being in peace and prayer are very intimately connected. Because prayer will get you to peace. And then also, once you're in peace, you can hear the voice of God more easily. You can get clarity more easily and do the right thing instead of doing the emotional thing. Okay? So peace brings you to God, and then prayer brings you peace, and prayer brings God to you as well. So peace and prayer are interchangeable. So those are, for example, two core things that you can do. What is another thing that you can do is proper thinking, right? Which brings us back to breathing. If you breathe, you calm down. Once you're calm, you can think better. You can sit in silence, actually. You can have peace. And then once you're in peace, you can get better thoughts, or you can like initiate, affirm, create thoughts that you want. Okay? Example, you want to run a new marketing campaign, you get in peace, you control your breathing, you come up with an idea. If there is a limiting belief, you control your breathing, you come up with a positive belief, which are into to take action, right? And then obviously acting. But I'm just explaining these things to show you how to think about things. Okay, this is like more abstract, more metaphysical. I'll give you one more example, and then I can finish this video. One more example is if you want to meet a girl, and there is all this advice on the internet, like looks maxing. There is all this advice on the internet, like do this, do that, dress better, buy this new supplement, buy this, you need to talk like this, you need to think like this. In reality, what you need to do is when you see a girl that you like, you need to say hi, and you need to do that enough times. That's like the initial cause. It's like you talking to people, right? Or you need to put yourself out there in some other way. Like you need to go to, I don't know, like salsa, bachata party, and people will be there and people will interact with you because they need to dance with you, or you will interact with them naturally, organically. So like there are these things that you can do that actually solve every other thing, okay? And to find those things, to understand how it all works, you need to understand this principle of inherent simplicity, which I just explained. And the more complex a thing seems, the more inherently simple it is. You just need to slow down, okay? Think, but not think randomly, like I explained in the first video. I mean, think cause and effect, okay? Think cause and effect. Think, okay, this effect is created by this cause, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Get to the core cause of everything, okay? And then decide to affect that cause. And affect it long enough to where you actually produce change to the chain of cause and effect, okay? Hopefully this was enjoyable, or useful, definitely. Enjoyable and useful. I invite you again to interact with me, okay? DM me on Instagram or leave a comment under this video if you have any questions or feedback or anything like that. or easily, you can just find me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. That also helps me support, subscribe to this channel, and like this video as well, of course. And then you can DM me there, we can interact, and that will give me more ideas for future videos. Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you for your attention. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.